Welcome back to the Amateurish Podcast. This is episode 16, our Big Ten conference preview. Obviously, we have a different setup than, our previous episodes, but you got to do what you got to do. This is going to be our final conference preview before the college basketball season starts in a few days. And as always, we have our five tiers. We have natty contenders, locks, bubble teams, could surprise, and sorry. Um, I got nothing else. You ready to get into it?
Let's do it. I'm broadcasting live from my prison. So,
And even though it is the Big Ten, this is the Big 18. So we got a lot of teams to get through today.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
not so good. I'm big, but not
Yeah.
good. All
As
right.
always, we'll start in alphabetical order. So first up, we have Illinois. Where do you have Illinois?
Yeah, I moved them around recently. I have them in the second tier. Um,
A lock? You think they're going to be a lock for the tournament?
I have gone back and forth on this team recently, reading about the kid they got. I think it's Jassionis.
Yeah.
He's a pro. They may have Big Z's brother. That would give them an imposing front line with some good quality depth and Booth behind them. They like Hume Rickes. Um, it's not the Illinois of old,
No.
but this ESPN ranked both those kids, Big Z and Jassionis. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. As top 5, 6 international recruits. So very impressive. Um, I
I
think they have
also
some.
have them tier two.
Yeah,
Um, but
hang on 1 second.
yeah,
Um, they also have, I'm sure you'll touch on him, Kylan Boswell, and a very experienced scoring guard, and Will Riley.
surprised you didn't talk about them earlier.
Yeah, because I can't see. I've got it on there, but you also have them too.
Yeah, I have them two, but I have them towards the bottom of two. Trust Underwood will get them to the tournament. And they have, they have good production with Trey White coming over, Boswell, Will Riley. Interesting prospect. I don't know if physicality because he was already really thin and then he reclassed up a year, so he's younger than most freshmen. But talent wise, he's a NBA prospect. My thing that I don't really have a star on paper for them. I don't know who's going to be their guy. Like last year, they had Shannon, which is like, okay, give him the ball and get out the way. And they
I
also
think,
replaced some.
yes, you.
You think it's Yakashionis?
Yeah, I think it has to be.
Yeah. But I mean, just they lost Shannon, Domas, Coleman Hawkins, Dane Danger. Like they lost a lot from a really good team. But I have them tier two.
Yeah, I worry about Riley's size as well. We talked about that internally about Scotty Middleton last year, who was a slender guard
Yeah, and Big
freshman.
Ten is physical league.
Yeah, and they're
Yeah.
all right.
Next up, we have Indiana. For me,
Hmm.
I had to put someone tier one, and I went with the Hoosiers.
Yeah, I understand why you did that. I originally had a completely different tier one, and then I said, no, this league doesn't deserve it. I have them tier two. I think they're a lock, dead
Yeah.
certain lock. I think they're just outside of being a natty contender.
Yeah. If we had renamed the Natty contenders to like Elite Eight, I would be like, all right, it definitely Indiana. I just didn't want to leave that tier completely empty, which is foreshadowing for the rest of the conference.
Well, I did leave it empty, so
Right. But I mean, again, I don't really know who their star is. Probably be between Malik Reneau, Miles Rice, but they have a really talented team. They added, of course, Miles Rice, Umar Balu from Arizona, Cannon Carlisle, who I think could be really good from them from Stanford, some shooting, and Luke Goody from Illinois, and then Bryson Tucker, pretty high recruit. And the only major loss I think was Kalel Ware.
yeah.
Um,
I
yeah,
I'd be interested to see how Baloo and Malik pair. Malik, when I watched him last year, and of course we know him, um, he is a dominant low post. He's Trace Jackson Davis light.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, he just gets buckets at will, and I think there's going to be a lane clog with Baloo.
If he can stretch
Um,
the floor out, they can have a like similar to what they did with Ware last year, where the like a high-low punch. Then I
right.
think it could be really good at especially playing both those bigs at the same time.
Yeah, and I think the only issue here is fit. I mean, they have guys. There's no
They're kind
question
of
about it.
talented. They're really talented.
It's just how well is Carlisle going to play with Rice and
Yeah,
you know
but
is
they could go like eight deep, like really
yeah
strong eight deep.
yeah. I think they're the class of the Big Ten.
Yeah, I agree. Next up, we have Iowa. Class of the Big Ten, too, in my opinion, tier five. I got these boys as sorry.
I have them also sorry.
Yeah, I mean they have a clear star, which is always
Yeah,
good. In Peyton Sandfort, it was at the combine. They added two transfers from Manhattan and Morehead State, and then they lost, McCaffrey, Tony Perkins. So this team is they weren't that good last year, and I don't expect them to be. I expect them to be worse, to be honest.
100%. I don't think they have the depth. Stanford kind of came out of nowhere on me.
Yeah,
They were talking about him in the draft at one point. Um, okay. Uh, he's a good player. I like the kid Traore from Manhattan at 6'7". He's a little undersized. Um, I really don't like their chances.
no, no. Moving right on, we have Maryland. I have Maryland tier two. I like this roster.
Wow. Okay.
You have,
I have them could surprise. I could have put them third. I think they're arguably up. Look, there's no question they have the class, one of the class recruits in Derek Queen.
oh yeah, the highest.
He's very good. Reese at your power forward. They're set up front. It I
You don't
in
like
the
Gillespie or Selton Miguel?
Yeah, I think they're good guards. The question is Gillespie is can he make that transition?
Yeah, Belmont, but I mean, there's a couple guys going for Belmont.
Yeah. Oh no, 100%. I don't dislike this team. I don't think they have a ton of depth.
I agree, and I think
And
replace, Jameer Young, Dante Scott.
yeah. And
Yeah,
they're shooting, other than Gillespie, no one shoots the ball very well.
they got Rodney Rice from Va Tech, who didn't play last season, but he was pretty solid freshman. When he,
He's not he's not like Rodney Rogers. He needs to be Rodney Rogers, not Rodney Rice.
but yeah, I have him tier two. It's also kind of like, the Big Ten's gonna put a amount of teams in the tournament, and I
Yeah.
think they're toward the top of the conference. So I just, if this was Big 12, I wouldn't have them there. But
Yeah. Okay.
moving on to Michigan, very interesting team. They have basically a new roster, brand new
Mhm.
coach, Dusty May, after, they let go of Jawan. Um,
Yeah.
I have these guys tier three. They're interesting to me.
I have him tier two.
Okay. Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, it's a good team but I just don't know how these guys are gonna mesh. Like, are they gonna play Vlad Golden and Danny Wolf together? They're huge. They're two 7-footers.
you can, because
You
Danny
think
Wolf can stretch.
yeah.
Yeah, he's a stretch
And then
five.
begs the question defensively. Both are not the most mobile, and if you have two slow 7-footers out there,
Right.
but they did also add Trey Donaldson, Sam Walters, and then in my opinion, the star is going to be Roddy Gale.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I don't love their point guard. Donaldson to me is a little unproven.
he's
And that
pretty
is
solid at Auburn past couple years.
yeah, he was there. Also, I'll tell you who I love, Reuben Jones from North Texas.
Yeah, he put up
Um,
numbers there. I feel like a lot of guys in North Texas on the move putting up numbers.
yeah, yeah, like I said, I have them tier two, and I think Gale is a big time scorer. Um, I think if they had gotten one of their two point guards, Dusty May's, point guards from last year, we'd be having a different conversation.
100%. 100%.
Yeah,
One of them's here, and the other's at Arkansas. But
correct.
yeah, I mean, Dusty May's a great coach. They, I trust him to do a good job with the Wolverines, even after losing all that talent. Next up, we have Michigan State right into it. I also have them tier three.
I have them tier four. I think my color coding didn't trap here. They could be tier five. I think this is the worst example of a Michigan State team in forever.
Yeah,
Now, I will say this: Xavier Booker may have turned the corner.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They have
And
a
if he,
lot of guys that could have turned the corner.
yeah, if he's what he should have been or was touted to be, he's good. Akins is a solid player. And this kid Fiddler from Omaha, that's a big step.
But 20 a game is 20 a game in college.
Yeah, at Omaha.
I agree. No, I don't think he's going to average 20 at Michigan State, but I don't think it's like we were talking about Hugh Ricketts earlier at Evansville. He averaged 14 at Evansville.
Yeah.
20 is a different, you're the guy. Um, yeah, I mean, this last season they were my preseason national champs, and we saw how that went.
Yeah.
However, Tom Izzo is Tom Izzo. And while they did lose a ton of production, I think they have guys in place to step up. Like an Akins, I think he'll be their guy this year. Xavier Booker, Cohen Carr, the best athlete in the country. Um, they brought in Jason Richardson's son from
Yeah.
Columbus. I think, but I'm tier three. It's not like I have him super high, but I trust him
No.
to make him
Yeah.
get him to the tournament.
Yeah, there's a minor disagreement here. And picking them number one is why you're now doing this crappy podcast.
Okay. Next, Minnesota. Uh,
Yeah.
could agree here.
I, I
These boys, sorry, they're tier five.
yeah, I can't disagree. Again, my color coding cut off on the last couple. Um, they do have Dawson Garcia.
Unprepared, undisciplined.
No, it's the printer. Uh, Dawson Garcia is a good player.
No, he's 100%. He'll probably average 20 with this team.
Yeah, and the kid from Canisius, this Mitchell kid, averaged 12 and 12. I know it's Canisius, but
Talking
you know,
about Omaha is a big jump. Canisius.
yeah, but rebounds translate.
Okay. Does it though? The size.
Norchad,
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, Norchad's a different breed. But like they're bringing in a guy from a D3, and then the rest are all low major, except for Brennan Rigsby from Oregon, who was like a role player there. And then they
yeah,
lost an NBA draft a player in Cam Christie. They weren't good last year. So I think we're on the same page. This team is not going to be good.
yeah. At best, they're a fourth tier at best.
I agree.
Uh, and I only say that because they do have some, you know, intriguing transfers. We'll see.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have Nebraska. Where do you have Nebraska?
Awful.
Yeah, I also have them tier five. Um, I looking at the roster, like I don't know how they made the tournament last year. Uh,
Well, Tamanaga.
obviously, but like they only lost really Tommy Naga and CJ Wilcher production wise. They returned like Bryce Williams, but I mean, this team's not going to be good at all. Transfer class is not great. They got Connor Essegian from Wisconsin, who kind of like disappeared last year.
Yeah,
Aaron Hughes from Iowa, who was suspended for gambling. Very interesting.
yeah, and Worcester from I think it was Utah. Now they've got guys. It's not like this is a team I couldn't fill out a starting five, but I can't tell you who the star is. And
Yeah,
I'm not sure that after umpteen years in college, Master Gary is ready to. If they haven't shown it now, like it's very rare that you get to that late in your playing career and you blossom.
yeah.
I think by now you are who you are. So yeah, I don't fancy their chances much.
Next up, we have Northwestern. I have these guys in tier four. I think they really could surprise. And I
I
know
had,
they lost their guy in Boo Buie and also Ryan Langborg. But
yeah,
I mean, after seeing them last year, how they played against FAU, Brooks Barnheiser is going to be good. I like him. And as a tier four, of course.
I have them tier three.
Okay,
Um, the reason I'll tell you why is when I watched them play, um, they their reserves were better than their numbers indicate.
mhm.
Like this kid, Nicholson, I believe. Seven. They got two 7-footers, Nicholson and Fitzmaurice, and they played well. This kid Martinelli was a younger kid. He played well. Barnheiser, of course, is their star. I can see why they're tier four. I could, but I like the coach. I like the program at this point, and so I think they got a shot.
Yeah. Next up, we have Ohio State. I have them tier three along with their rivals in Michigan.
I have them tier two.
They are
Uh,
one of the more talented teams, I think, on paper.
yeah,
What pushed me to have them tier three was like they added some two big question marks in Aaron Bradshaw, Sean Stewart. Like the talent in like high school ranking, like these guys are crazy, but we saw last year they didn't really produce much at Kentucky and Duke, respectively. And then they lost a lot of production on a team that wasn't even that great. Jameson Battle, Felix Okpara, Zed Key, Roddy Gale. I like their backcourt a lot with Bruce Thornton and Michi Johnson. I
yeah.
think they put up a lot of points. But it's the others that are question marks for me.
They might have the best backcourt in the Big Ten. I
Oh,
mean,
I think they probably do. Uh,
uh,
yeah,
I like Parrish, the transfer from San Diego State. Very good defensively. And you got to remember the way they played down the stretch to earn that coach a contract. I
really.
think they're better. I do like Thornton and Michi, and I think Michi showed growth in the last season or two at South Carolina. His first season with GG Jackson, I thought was awful. Whether that was on GG or whether it was on Michi, I don't know. But
Yeah, I agree. I think they do have a really good backcourt, but you had them tier two.
two, right?
All right. Next up, we have Oregon. Um, I have Oregon tier three. What do you have them? Tier two.
Two.
Okay, wow. I mean, I
Yeah.
think Jackson Shellstad might be the best guard in the Big Ten. I think he's going to make a huge leap this year. He reminds me of Peyton Pritchard when he was at Oregon. And then they added, some guys, Supreme Cook, TJ Bamba, Raheem Moss from Toledo.
Yeah.
But what's holding me back from putting them at tier two is like they lost like two of their three best players in Folly Dante and Cousinard, and they also lost two role players in Okendo and Rigsby.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sold on Bamba. I think he's just okay. We'll see Supreme Cook if he's got anything. But what intrigued me about them is they had Mookie Cook,
Yeah,
who
yeah.
almost didn't play at all last year. They've got this kid Moss, I think from Toledo, who was averaged 16 and 5. Nate Biddle was a big time recruit.
5 years,
Seven, what?
5 years ago.
Yeah, but he's a 7-footer. He's going to give you, maybe 10 and 5. That's what his average is. And then they got a transfer from Stanford, and I think it's Kwame Evans.
I mean, Evans is gonna be good. He was solid as a freshman last year.
Yeah, I think they have a tendency. I think they're trending up here. I understand what they lost. Um, we'll see.
Yeah, but I'm really high on Jackson Shellstad.
Yeah, he's a good player. Yeah.
Next up, we have a team I'm not high on at all, Penn State. Um, these guys suck. They might be the worst team in the Big Ten.
Oh, I don't think there's any might be.
Yeah, I mean they have Ace Baldwin, great
Good
player.
player. Yeah.
They lost Kanye Clary, and then when I have newcomers in my notes, I have none of note. No, like they added no one on a team that wasn't good, and they just lost their highest score.
They added Conan.
Who?
Conan,
From where?
Illinois.
What do you average?
Oh, Northern Illinois. Sorry. 7 and 4, and he's 6'11".
Okay,
So
4 from Northern Illinois in the Big Ten.
yeah, he's your starting center. Puff Johnson.
They do have Puff Johnson.
I,
You,
I really I really feel bad for Ace Baldwin.
yeah, he's going to be the lone bright spot on this team. And they,
Had
this kid has
he
never.
was on if he was on Northwestern, – if he was on Northwestern, – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – That'd be a good team.
If
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're not good. Moving on to the next P and Purdue. I've seen a lot of people be really high on Purdue, and I just can't get behind that. I still have them tier two because of Matt Painter and Braden Smith, but I don't see that. I've seen a lot of people have them like, wow, they're going to be just as good or like really good. No, like Zach Edey's two-time National Player of the Year. They also lost Gillis and Lance Jones. There's just no chance.
Yeah, 100%. I think they're way overrated. Those guards are solid guards,
Yeah,
but I
Braden
think
Smith,
but I think Edie made them better.
100%. I mean, you get like three extra assists a game just by like throwing it to him, and he'll just make it.
And three extra open shots a game because you
Yeah,
got to converge on the
also
post.
for Lawyer.
I mean, First is okay and Kaufman Wren is okay, but
They do have like Matt Painter, Mo. They have two more giant dudes waiting their turn in Berg, and they just added Jacobson, who's 7'3".
yeah.
Um, so who knows? Maybe in a year or two, those guys will be the next in the line of Purdue bigs. But at the moment, I have them tier two. They have a great coach, good guards, but nothing crazy.
No, they're a tournament team.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Next up, one of my favorite teams is Rutgers.
Yeah.
I have them tier two. They have the talent to be tier one, frankly. You got them tier two too?
I do. They were originally my only one, and then I kept sizing them up and realized, yes, Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey are, you know, top five NBA pros.
Did you watch any of the St. John's exhibition?
I did not.
They looked really good, man. They both Ace Bailey had 25, Harper had 20. St.
Yeah.
John's, that's a good team.
Yeah,
Uh,
it is. Yeah. And they added Acuff. He's a decent guard.
yeah,
You got some
Burkett
options.
from Merrimack was like that.
Yeah, Durkak, and you have Williams, I think from Oregon or no, I'm sorry, that's an or. They don't have a great front line.
Yeah, and then they lost Omarui to go to add to that.
Yeah, but I think he was done. I think he had to. It was up or out. Like I think he had exhausted his
Oh,
time.
he's going to Alabama.
No, you know how you have like that grad year or something. I
Still
don't
lost,
know.
still lost him.
Yeah, no, he's a loss, and they didn't fill that position.
Bailey's
But
he did the jump ball for them. I mean, he's
yeah,
6'10" with a 40.
the 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 coach is really, I think, good. And when you have two NBA prospects, like only Duke can really say something like that this year.
Two like lottery bigs.
Lottery. Yeah, that's kind of like head scratcher. That's why I had him for a long time as a one. We'll see.
Yeah, no, I think they're going to be at the very least very exciting to watch.
Yeah, oh, that's League Pass if they had League Pass.
Next up, we have UCLA. This is when you said that Ohio State is the best backcourt in the Big Ten. I was like, UCLA could have something to say about that. I have them tier two.
I have them tier three.
I, I,
Uh,
I like this roster a lot. They only lost Adam Bona, production wise, which is a big loss, but I think Dylan Andrews is a good player. They brought in Sky Clark, Dominic Harris, Kobe Johnson, Eric Daly, a good freshman in Trent Perry. Like on paper and like name value, I think they're towards the top.
yeah, but they weren't very good last year, and they returned most of those guys. Yeah, Clark played well last year. Trent Perry, we'll see if he's as advertised.
Mm.
Um, but tell me who their star is.
I have Dylan Andrews.
Okay.
It could go either way.
Yeah, I just they didn't overwhelm me with. I'm not a huge Eric Daly fan. I think the kid Bilodeau from Oregon State. I mean, they got size. Mara.
They got the
Mara.
dude, yeah, 7'3" guy.
Yeah. We'll see. But we're not far off. I
Yeah.
mean, you're two on three,
Next up, we have USC. I'm interested. Where do you have them?
also three.
I also have them three. They have a complete like everything is new about this program. They have new coach, new roster, completely new roster.
Yeah.
Um, they have a lot of guys who did something at their last stop, but it's like who's gonna be the guy?
Well, I think St. Thomas. Um,
And I also Desmond Claude at Xavier.
well, Desmond Claude is a bucket getter.
Yeah.
Like there may be a difference between star and who you're getting if you need a bucket.
Yeah, yeah.
I think there could very well be that difference. St. Thomas, could make a leap. Was he at Northern Colorado or something? Or
I mean,
but he averaged 20 and 10. He's 6'7". But Claude is just, yeah. He gets it done. I don't love the kid from Penn. I don't know if he's going to run the team. I'm a little confused there. I like Josh Cohen from Massachusetts. I think
slow.
he's a product. Yeah, but he's not. It's not like he's playing against. He's playing against Danny Wolf and Nate Biddle and Caleb First. He he'll be productive and he shoots the ball decently. And this coach, when
Yeah,
he's
that's a
energized,
good coach.
yeah.
But I mean, after last year, he's got something to prove.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
All
All
right,
right,
we'll
home
go.
stretch here.
Yeah, final two teams, both W's. First we'll go with Washington. I have them tier four.
I have him tier three.
Okay. Why do you have them tier three?
Uh, Great Osabor. I
Highest
mean,
paid player in college basketball.
yeah. Outside of Bronny last year, Bronny made five. So Osabor is supposedly getting 2 million. I like Zoom Diallo.
Yeah, yeah.
I I like this kid as your point guard. You've got some guys who fill in around them who are very productive. Kid Ianacho from North Dakota was 15 and 5 there. The kid from Rice, 14 and 4, and the kid from
Butler. You did.
Butler. Um, and I think Frank Kepnang he's a rim protector type guy. He's not a standout, but in this league, other than guarding Indiana and Michigan, they don't really have any dominant centers. Garcia, but he plays a little different. I think it's on Diallo. If Diallo plays like he did in high school,
But it's also a Will Riley situation where he reclassed up to be there.
yeah,
If I'm not mistaken.
I'm not 100%. I'll take your word for it, but I mean, every time I've seen him play, I've been impressed by the kid.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, I just, they weren't great last year, and they also lost some of their best players, like Keon Brooks was a really good player.
Yep.
But
It's a pick that if Diallo doesn't pan out or they get, Osabor isn't what he was, then yeah, this could go south in a hurry.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, they're very reliant on those two guys. And then last team, another Wisconsin. I have them tier four as well. I do not like this team at all. It's out of
Yeah,
respect for what they did last year and Greg Gard that I don't have them tier five, honestly.
100%. Crowl is again one of those that he's a huge guy. It's going to be fairly productive.
Yeah, he'll be productive, but if he's your star
I
in a
don't think he.
Big Ten, who do you
I
have
think
for
it's
star?
Klesmit, maybe.
Yeah. I mean they lost so much in AJ Store, Tyler Wall, and Chucky. And then they
Yeah,
added a guy from Central Arkansas and Northern Illinois. Like that doesn't like inspire confidence if I'm a Badger fan.
yeah, and literally you could throw him in the fifth tier, but for Greg Gard, he's always done it.
Yeah, they always are they're solid.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
But
All right,
that was it.
yeah.
First ever virtual podcast episode. Let us know in the comments how you felt about our setup. What can we improve? I'm sure we can. And we will be back with some episodes. I know we took a little bit of a hiatus. We definitely got some stuff to cover in the NBA.
NBA preview coming up,
Yeah.
right?
We have a lot to talk about with
And early season college.
yeah, early it's the best time of year, man. Everything's starting up. Not second best time of year, March, but
Losers to Duke. I mean, there's a lot of
Duke and
storyline.
we have the big purr cat on the move to New York.
Yeah, The big purr.
Big Kerr. You know,
And the Dante DiVincenzo Rick Brunson feud.
oh yeah, there's preseason's been cooking up, man.
Yeah, who knew?
But yeah, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we will see y'all on our next episode. Peace.